Alrighty, we got a game. Let's get right into it. Got 3 Master 2s. And, oh, we're the dealer. Oh, shoot. Let's drop an honor. Yep, of course. Here we got a 1 pin over here, which is probably gonna be the next round we're gonna draw. Yep, okay, that's an amazing draw. Oh, man. Not sure if we're gonna be able to get anything like the 789 yet, but it's definitely possible. We have 2 dot and potentially a third one. I would like to consider the possibility of opening the hand. Like, for example... Yeah, we're gonna open this hand. The East was probably not useful enough to keep, but I would definitely want to, see the 9 over here, for example. Probably should have just dropped the 4-man, honestly, because it's not very useful to this hand anymore. We do have... what is it? Yisanten, right, for 3-han. If we get the Doa, it is Mangan. So it is perfectly callable. There it is, there's Mangan. Well, sorry, not Mangan, but we're Tenpai, at least. And that is amazing. We're gonna just push this to basically the end of the round, because we're the dealer, we have value. Even though our weight is not good, we have enough. Our hand is good enough to push throughout basically anything. Yeah. Not really sure what the player cross is doing. It looks like they're probably just doing Toy All Triplets, considering that they did drop the 8-man pretty early. Though it is possible that they are doing a... what's called? Oh. It's possible that they're doing some kind of, flush. It's probably not that likely. Yeah. They did drop the 4-5 from their hand, though, indicating that it's possible that they decided to not go for flush yet. Is that getting... oh, okay, fine. Wait, what? Why didn't they... alright then. Fair enough. Oh, is there like only 1 tile left? But, I mean, yeah, okay. Anyways. Not important. Let's head over to the next round. We've got 2 Doa. This 4-so is a little bit... looks a little hard to use right now, but we can just go ahead and draw the 5-so, for example, and that would be awesome. So we're just gonna go ahead and start calling. Is this 3-pin useful? Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and keep the 3-pin in case we draw the 5-pin, for example. Yeah. The red 5, that is. Although, once we draw the red 5, I'm not really sure how exactly we want this hand to... like, I'm not sure which block we're going to be dropping, which makes keeping the 3 a little bit dubious, but, well, whatever, when in doubt, it's just fine to go ahead and keep it. This one, however... you know what? I'll pull. Yeah. We're doing over here. We're just going to go ahead and call. There's a chance for us to turn this into all triplets anyways, so after we pull into this, it's going to be perfectly fine. Yeah, we lose the dot, but we still have 1, so this is, 2600. Wait, is it 2600? No, it's not. Sorry, we don't get a foo bump, so it's just 2000. If we sumo, we do get a foo bump, which is, well, nice, I guess. The other question that we have is it worth calling Pong to get Poi? I'm gonna say maybe. Maybe it's worth it, but I feel like... No. I don't think it's worth it. No. Yeah, the 5 weight is... I mean, we'd be waiting on the 5, right? I don't think it's good enough to justify losing the good weight. Yeah. 2000. If we draw the 5-man ourselves, however, we will take Toy, I think. Yeah, we're just not gonna pull the 9s. Okay, you know what? Fine. We're gonna take Toy. What was I just saying? The difference here, however, is that, how do I say it? The difference between pulling the 9 and drawing the 9 ourselves is that they don't know that we're tanky, right? So, and they also, well, I mean, I have to assume that they probably think that we're Tenpai, but also pulling right would give us a 100% chance of Tenpai, as well as, right, again, like we said, a 100% read on our weight shape. Obviously, with only one tile in hand, the only type of weight shape you can take is a Tanki. Yeah, so I think it's probably more likely for us to get, or it's probably good enough of staying concealed like this, or if we get, right, the 9 so concealed like this, I think it's worth it enough to get rid of our good weight and just take the Mangan. Could be wrong again, but, well, you know, I don't know if I'm wrong. Question of the day, do we drop the Chun? The 5-man is also dangerous, so that's the problem. So it's not like we're really, you know, getting anything safe. Or we're not really reducing our win rate by, reducing our deal-in rate by dropping the 5. So I feel like it's probably just correct to go ahead and drop red. Yeah, more value, more, what's it called? More value and maybe not necessarily higher win rate, but probably a lower deal-in rate if we do this. Okay, now we need to think between which one of these 5s I want to drop. I think this 5 is better in terms of, what's it called? Maybe win rate? But this 5-man is a little bit scary to drop, considering that they did drop the 7 right after calling pull. So there's a very high chance that 7 has to do with, or is related with their weight. That being said, it's pretty unlikely for them to have a Shampoo on the 5. But, well, okay, good thing we got it. Yeah, I'm not really sure which one of the red 5s we are supposed to wait on. But yeah. I think it's okay to go ahead and take this, the Toy Toy weight. Alright, we are in East 3 now, in first place, so we don't need to be that aggressive with this hand. I'll consider being relatively passive, yeah. I say relatively passive, I mean like, oh well, okay, now that we have 2, now we have a pair of Dua, I'm considering just playing normally. Yeah. Having this pair of Dua means not only that we have an expensive hand, but that other players will have a less expensive hand, right? So, I don't really think that we need to be that worried about other players with that consideration, or with that in mind. However, we are in first place, and it would be sad to deal in and lose for that first place. So, you know, of course, there is that making our, or making it more incentivizing us to play normally. What? No, not to play normally. Wow, I cannot find the words right now. Incentivizing us to lower our deal-in rate, right? To play a bit more defensively. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and drop our 5th block, our weakest block right now, which is the Pentan. Now that we have 2 other pairs, we can pull the red dragon and everything, and we'll still have 2 pairs remaining. That being said, it might be a little bit difficult for us to get this red pull. We'll see. The dealer has pulled a green dragon, which means that, well, they could be pretty close. And, yeah, okay, now is the time for us to just go ahead and fold, because we really don't have enough Jade. Even though we do have the pair of red, it's not anything that, this hand is definitely not anything that we can push. So we're just going to go ahead and fold with no qualms at all. Oh, this was safe against the player to the left. Well, oops. Didn't even notice for some reason. Alright, we'll go ahead and copy the 1 pin. Match the 1 pin. That's the terminology that I'm trying to use for this action. Yeah. It's like matching a, I don't know, a bet? Is that what people say? Or whatever. Not anything that we need to worry about. I'll just go ahead and drop the 9 now. Is there any way we can get this hand to Tempai reasonably? Probably not. Because in order to get into Tempai, we are going to need to drop something from this 1-2-2 shape, and neither the 1 or the 2 is, nor the 2 is, safe enough to drop. Yeah. Is that... No, it's not dealing. Okay. So, yeah, it's not really something that we can get. Tempai, that is. We'll go ahead and drop the Dora now. Not sure if we should have dropped that earlier or later, but it really shouldn't have that large of a dealing rate. Okay, the 2 is safe now, so that means that we have a way to resolve this shape, right? But it's probably not going to be resolved anyways at this point. Also, I probably should have matched the 2 man, just in case it deals into the player to the right later. Okay. Dealer wins... Oh, they have 2 Doans. That's a little bit unexpected, but fair enough. Good for them. And we are in East 3. Repeat 1. With 2 Dua ourselves, however, we're going to need a couple more blocks in order to start calling. Okay, that's an amazing draw. Is it? I think it's 9-pin. Yeah. Again, like we were saying, it's probably good enough. Or it's probably good for us to be a bit more defensively oriented than normal. I'll still go ahead and drop the twice cut south now, however. 9-pin is pretty useless anyways, so it's not really that much of a loss for us to get rid of it. Do we drop the 1? Yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and drop the 1-pin. I'm going to keep this 1 man so that we can draw a 5th block in the lower Manzu to get, perhaps, Itsu, which allows us to call. Now we don't really need that because we can also just go ahead and get Tanyao. Right, we already have 4 blocks in Tanyao. If we draw the 3, for example, then we get a Kanchan over here on the 7. That is not something we can get. So yeah, now this 1 is just not very useful. But the question is, it is the start of row 2, so how much should we think about defense? And yeah, we should think about defense, just we don't really have a lot of safe pals right now to keep anyways. So kind of awkward. Yishanten. Well, the Yishanten that's callable. Right, so now we have this option of, for example, keeping this 9, which, sure. I'll go ahead and keep the 9 man for safety's sake, just because this hand doesn't really have very good, what's it called? I'm not that keen on calling Riichi with this hand, even if we get the 7-pin. Though, okay, well, G. And if we can see it, well, this Champon is better than the Penchan over here. So, I think it might be okay for us to have dropped the 3. So, the fact that we got into this Tempai doesn't necessarily mean that this was correct, of course, but, well, I felt that keeping the 9-man was worth getting rid of the 1-4 acceptance. Again, that might be wrong. Either way, that was my decision. And now we are here. Obviously, we're not gonna Kan or anything like that. But is there any way for this hand to change, really? Not particularly. Is 5-man droppable? Yes. The player to the left... I actually have no idea what they're doing. What are they doing? They dropped a pair of Dora. I cannot... Yeah, I have no idea. It is kind of relevant because, well, we need to know what we're up against. But I seriously have no idea what this hand is. Okay, what is it? Ah, that's pretty cool. Okay, that is definitely understandable to drop the pair of 6-4. And, well, now they're in first place. Shoot. Fair enough. All last, and we are going to try and get our first place back. So how do we do that? It's tough. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and flush. We have 3.5 blocks. Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna drop these Mansu Pong. We're just gonna head for the flush. Now, if we don't get Yakai, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for us to get our conditions, but we can still sumo, right? I'm not screwing that up. Yeah, we can still sumo. Yakai no mi. What is it? Not Yakai no mi. Points no mi. The Tuhan points. And that should get us into first. So I'm okay with just calling like this. I'm keeping the Forest Man, although we probably should have gotten rid of it quite a few turns ago, honestly, because we're not really that interested in drawing the Dua. Because, I mean, okay, there's like maybe a chance for us to get like 2 Dua around the 4, like draw the red 5, draw the 3-man. But it's probably not that useful, honestly. Yeah. I called Pong over here because I figured it might be a little bit, it might be better for a win rate than just trying to call Riti, although I'm not really sure if that was actually the case. Again, just the fact that we're not advancing doesn't necessarily mean that how we played was wrong, which, well, yeah, so we can't really say for sure, or I can't really say for sure at least, what the best way of playing this was. See. So we're gonna try and get Tenpai. And hopefully, you know, we can still win. That's all there is to it, really. The player to the left is still, what's called dropping Painsu for some reason, which is, well, I guess it makes sense. They still do need to try to win, because if we win, you know, a flush, and then they're probably gonna go ahead and, or they're probably gonna lose their first place. They can't just wait and, you know, wait for us to get Tenpai and then lose on exhaustive draw either. So yeah, it does make sense that they kind of have to, you know, play normally. Alright. This is fine. This is 3,900, and I believe that we stay in second place, and I'm perfectly fine with this dealing. Alright. Well, that's the end of that. Again, not sure if going for the flush was correct, but that's how we did it. See you guys next time.